Hello friends, hello wonderful people, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Kate and I'm a professional makeup artist based in England. Jolie Beauty, a brand that I hold very close to my heart, they have just released FestivALT, which is an alternative festival makeup collection. Today I'm going to show you how to do this eye makeup using the Distortion palette. So if you want to see how I did this, please keep watching. Hello everyone, so if you can hear this, please ignore that. I don't know what is going on with this chair. I'm just going to start off with some of the Kaleidos Tone Activator. I'm just going to apply this all over the lid so we have a bit of a base to work with. I'm going to squeeze like a little bit. This is so pigmented, like you really don't need a lot of it. Do you know what? I'm actually going to zoom you right in so you can see. This is just an eyeshadow brush from Beauty Bay. It's called the Cut Crease brush. So I'm just getting this all over the lid, making sure to get into the inner corner, onto sort of the bridge of my nose as well, and to drag it quite far out because as you can see, I like my eyeshadow very dragged out. Also bring in whatever's left on the brush underneath the eye. So I've already got a base on because I've got my foundation and concealer on, but this is just for some extra security for the lower lash line. So the real star of the show today is the new Distortion palette. This is from Jolie Beauty. There are 4 new palettes in this collection. Can we just appreciate? Oh, it's actually insane. Like, this palette is stunning. And I just love that it's got these warmer tones along with the cooler tones in there as well. And this one is kind of like 90s grunge inspired. So the back of the palette says, the 90s never left. Distortion channels warm grunge energy with rusts, browns and muddy mustards made for smudging, smoking and not giving a damn. Think thrifted flannel, smudged eyeliner and one too many nights out, which I love. Like this is me in a palette. Like when I saw this I was like, I've already swatched these shimmers a million times because there's glitter all over me, but just for you guys I will swatch these 3 shades. Worn, Distortion and Drift. These foiled shimmers are literally insane. I'll swatch them just so you can see. Like, unmatched. This formula is incredible. So to start off with, take the shade Undone, which is a really nice neutral brown transition shade. This is a brush from Pink Freak. It's just a big fluffy brush. And we're just going to start putting this directly into the socket line and making sure that we're dragging it right out towards the temple. And I bring this right into the inner corner as well. You guys know I love a really sunken in looking eye. I also join it up to my nose contour just to make everything look really cohesive. And then I'm also bringing whatever's left on the brush down into the lower lash line because what goes up must come down. This is very heavily focused on the lower lash line, but it's just nice to build up the transitions in the same way rather than just going straight in with black. I love doing a really low dragged out under eye because this hides and disguises all of your creases. So all of your fine lines and creases that are like in here, you're not going to see it because there's going to be eyeshadow there. It's a really useful tip, and this is also great as well when you're on like day 3 of a festival and you need to hide those eye bags. I keep the same brush into Haze, which is this warm brown shade. Now I don't very often use warm tones on my eyes anymore. I used to be a warm tone girly through and through. So it's nice to kind of bring that back. I feel like I'm having a bit of a throwback. So what we're going to do is just start building this up in the outer corner. So this brush is quite big. I do have quite a lot of lid space. If you don't have as much lid space, definitely go in with something a little bit smaller. And we're just sort of like packing and gently buffing out at the same time. Focusing it in the outer corner. And we're also going to start dragging it outwards the same way that we did with the first eyeshadow. I would definitely recommend using bigger brushes for this look because we want it to be very blown out and smoky. We cover quite a large area, so if you're using a bigger brush, it's just going to make that easier for you. You don't have to be precise at all because we all know one of the best things about grungy eyeshadow looks is that they're super messy and you can kind of just whack the colour on. I'm making the same shade, but I'm just using this flat shader brush and we're just going to start building up Haze onto the lid as well. And I want something that's slightly more dense because it's going to give you a more intense colour payoff. I'm not bringing it all the way in, I'm kind of bringing it to about halfway, just further in than halfway. But we just really want to press this into the lid. Just taking that shade down into the lower lash line, smoking it all the way across. I'm going to go into Grainy, which is this neutral dark brown. I'm taking this on a PC38 from Peaches and Cream, which is a dense small shader brush. And what I'm going to do is start building up the depth in the outer corner. So we're mainly stamping this into the lash line where the line is going to go, gently dragging it out. So take it slightly up into the outer V, just where the crease ends, so you get almost like this V or like a triangle shape. Most of the product is focused here, and then whatever's left on the brush I'm gently winging out, and then again drag it underneath the lower lash line. This is one of those looks where you can kind of stop at any point, like this might be enough for you. I'm just trying to use basically every single shade in the palette. I'm just going to keep going in layers and building it up until I'm happy with how it looks. I'm going to take my Melt Slip Waterline pencil. This is in the shade Black Onyx. I go through these pencils like no tomorrow. Jolie has actually released pencils in this collection, but I don't have my hands on them yet. I think they might be coming later this week. But this is still my ride or die. Like, this is my favourite pencil eyeliner ever. So we're just going to go right into the waterline, all the way across, and make sure that's going into the root of the lashes as well. Just because if you don't put it there, sometimes you can get like a weird gap where you can kind of see the skin. This pencil is super creamy, so it's really, really easy to blend out. And then we're just going to tight line as well. Now I'm going to take a small pencil brush. This is from What's Up Beauty. It's R101. And we're just going to start smudging all of this out. Because this is quite a tapered brush, it almost has a point, so it is really good for getting in the inner corner. And I am going to extend the inner corner out into a slight wing. Just making sure that's all blended out. And then we can start bringing that black into that wing. Using the same brush, we're going back into the palette, into the black shade, which is called Warped. I'm just going to go over where we've put that black eyeliner and then smoke it out even more. And then really starting to drag that out. I'm going to use the black shade, and then I'm just going to take this brush from Peaches and Cream. This is a PC12, so it's a really flat liner brush, but this is really good for like smoking out eyeliner. And because I'm doing this with eyeshadow, it's just going to help me get that really crisp line. Use the shape of the brush to my advantage. Stamp and use the straight edge of the brush as your guide. So I am happy with how that's looking. It's very... So now we're going to go in with the shade Smolder, which is this burnt mustard yellow. So I'm taking R102 from What's Up Beauty, so it's just your general sort of like blending brush. Start bringing this into the inner part of my socket line, but then also bring it quite far down underneath as well. I'm a huge fan of mustard eyeshadows. I feel like it's a really fun way to incorporate a yellow tone without being like yellow. Again, it's messy, it's dirty, it's grungy, it's scrumptious. So now my favourite part of the makeup, we're going to go in with a shimmer. So I'm going to take the shade Drift, which is this bottom shade here. These are like foiled shadows. I feel like they best apply with your fingers, but I really struggle to get like in the inner corner. A lot of the time I'll use something that's more synthetic. So this is a lipstick brush. I'm just going to pick some of that product up, and then I'm just starting to pack this onto the inner corner, and like, can you see that? Focusing most of it right into this inner corner, and then whatever's left on the brush kind of just drag onto the lid slightly. But I want to keep most of the lid matte because I like the contrast between the really matte shades and the really like super intense shimmery shades. And I'm also going to just start bringing this right in here. Now I'm using the Jolie Beauty Infinity Liner Pen. I'm going to define this inner corner flick just so we can get a nice point. And then I'm just going to line across as close to the lash line as possible. As a final step for the eyeshadow, go back into the palette, into the shade Fade, which is this really nice ivory shade. I thought this was a matte shade, but it has a slight shimmer to it, and it's really, really pretty. It's what I've got on my brow bone. It's like a really soft, buttery shimmer. And you all know I love a highlighted brow bone. So we're just gonna go directly up there, and you can see how nice that is. Moving on to mascara and lashes, one of my favourite parts of makeup. I'm going to use my Jolie Beauty lash curlers, of course, I've mentioned these quite a lot since I've got my hands on them, but you can see they've got these separators. So I'm going to give my lashes a very good curl. Don't be alarmed, like I like to really get in there, like right into the root, give them a really good squeeze. Another very exciting product is the new Jolie Beauty Amplified Mascara. So this is a tubing mascara. I have it on, you can see, like I've got a couple of false lashes on here on the very outer corner for some extra drama, but these are all my natural lashes all the way across. Like this is insane. And I have been on the hunt for a very long time for a cruelty-free alternative to Benefit Bad Gal Bang. I have used that mascara for like 8 years and I've never found anything that I love as much, but I can't justify buying from brands and products that aren't cruelty-free anymore. So this has really lived up to my expectations, which is so nice to say because I feel like I'm always underwhelmed with mascaras, but this is so good. So the best way to apply it is to sort of wiggle it into the root of your lashes to build up the volume and then drag out, which is the way that I apply my own mascara anyway. I like a lot of mascara and I like it to be quite chunky, so if that's not for you, obviously don't do as much, but this just works so well and you can see how amazing that is. So we're going to do bottom lash as well. Like I have quite long bottom lashes anyway, but I just love how I can build this up to make them really chunky, really spidery. As I say, it's just so nice to actually be like impressed with the mascara because I feel like I have really high expectations, and I like it as well because this is like a firm sort of like almost like plastic wand. I don't like the really fluffy mascara ones. I don't feel like they do much for my lashes and how I like my lashes to look. For lashes I have a collection of random individuals. These are from Amazon. I use them a lot in my kit. So I used 112 and 2 10mm, and then these are random like manga lashes that I've got from another lash pack that I've just put in here when I'm done with them. So I did stick one of the smallest ones, one of these ones, just in the centre of my lower lash line. I'm using my Melt lash glue. This is latex free. I always use latex free glue on myself and on clients. So I just like to put a little bit just like in the palette there. I grab a lash, so I'm going to go with a 10 first. It's just look down into a mirror and just pop it on the very outer corner. And I'm just going to take this single lash right into the lower lash line. This is what the eyes look like up close. I love this sort of vibe. So for my base, I just went over with the bronzer that I used earlier, which was the Melt Sculpt stack. And then I used a little bit of Smolder to kind of give that mustardy tone into the cheeks, and then also used Fade as a subtle highlight. Then my lip combo is all Jolie Beauty as well. So it's the Eternal Lip Liners in the shade Willow, which is a dark brown, and Noir, which is the black shade. I use the lip gloss in the shade Shrooms. If you want to see how to create this sort of lip, I do already have a video on this, so I'll link it up here somewhere. I've zoomed you in so you can see up close and personal. So this is what we're looking like. But yeah, this is the final look. I love this collection. Like I'm so excited for the rest of it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know if you'd like to see any more looks with the other palettes from the collection or anything else that you want to see. Let me know what you think in the comments and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Oh my god, this chair is so squeaky. Great.